Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, beautiful light warriors, old souls, and evolving beings. So, pushing the boundaries. This is not medical advice, but I'm going to share some pieces with you that everybody needs to pay attention to. The topic is medicating ascension symptoms, which is completely counterproductive. And the question becomes, why are we even still using these old systems when we've been gifted new bodies? And the bottom line is, one continues in old patterns because they simply do not trust themselves enough to imagine being able to heal instantly, to imagine that Source has gifted us with the ability to do the extraordinary now. So many systems are being disentangled from our auric fields that we have the ability to push light through and resolve things almost instantly. 20 years ago, people were still using medications in a way to help with something called the synaptic gap. So let us say you were diagnosed with depression. Some of these medications would literally help send messages from one side to the other, connecting synaptic gaps so that the person could function and feel better. Now, the entire system is broken and has been and was created for one reason: monetary issues. But it is true that recently, especially after the last burst, our light bodies are so strong, we literally are damaging ourselves by continuing to medicate with pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals, where does the word come from? Pharmakia. What does that stand for? Serpent. These were not created out of love for the body. These were created as control systems. And what's happening now, as so many of us are ascending, and we're trying to figure out what these symptoms are, instead of just going with them and saying, oh, I feel this way, I'm completely burning up, maybe it's hormonal, maybe it's not, people are still trying to treat them. You may even be treating fevers with aspirin. There is no need. Your light body is being activated. And in its activation, what is happening is everything that needs to be released is going out. And we are being created new again. Now, for women who are considering some of the newer hormonal therapies versus taking estrogen or versus taking testosterone or whatever it may be, you may have moved into the more holistic level of some of the naturopathic medicines that include liver from cows and other type resonating hormones. None of these are necessary any longer. As I said in one of my videos, that really, even some of the herbs that we were using, we really don't need anymore. So, for women, quote unquote, going through menopause, and I know people joke, men on pause. Well, men are going through it too. So don't be surprised if there are women on pause or same sex, whatever it may be, because sexual energy moving between two bodies, when you become more highly evolved, you realize that there is so many connections going on in that energetic flow that you very carefully decide if you are even willing to use your sexual energy with another being. And this is all part of the growth system. And it's all part of coming back to learning about yourself, becoming one with yourself, becoming one with Source. Because when you become one with Source and you listen to your heart, every single question, every need, every healing comes more instantly. If you talk to those of us who have been healers for a very long time, even doing energetic healings, it used to take a long time. You didn't just pop in, click a few things in your mind or energetically send it, and then all of a sudden it happened. Yes, there were those miraculous cases, just like there are miraculous cases when you do hypnosis. But it took more time. Now things are manifesting almost instantly. But the key is the client has to trust that they are really ready to let it go and not hold on to it any longer. And they have to trust the way in which they're medicating is not actually helping them. So when it comes to hot flashes and fevers, and again, I call them the plasma chills, the galactic chills, where you're so cold, just let your body go through it. Every time you put in an aspirin, every time you self-medicate, what's happening is you're stopping your body from allowing it to change in the way that it needs to change. So again, I'm not going to give medical advice. However, in the old days, if I was working with a patient on depression and I needed them to move from a bipolar state or a really deep clinical depression, I would slowly work with them to move the medicines like the Wellbutrins and the Zolofts and all of these things, little by little, start to wean them down and off, and then move in with either St. John's wort or something if they were having anxiety. And little by little, we could make the transition. That is still available if you go out and work with a homeopathic doctor. Because what is in the medications now will not vibe with our bodies. And if you are working to ascend and you are bringing in, you want your clairvoyance, you want your clairs back, and you want to expand, medication has to go. Even little by little, they have fed to you that schizophrenia, and I've mentioned this in other videos, is a delusion. Well, with all the walk-ins coming in and going out, if a psychologist, psychiatrist, or medical doctor is not aware of what is happening in ascension, they are going to misdiagnose you. You don't need medication. You need to allow yourself to, if necessary, hear the voice, integrate the walk-in, let things happen naturally. The biggest thing is you can't hold fear. Turn around and have fun. Oh my, this is my new being. Decide. Do you like it? Is it helping you? Is it wonderful? Keep it. Are you finding that it is an attack? Cut the cord as quickly as you possibly can. I taught you that in the very beginning. I do not consent. You put yourself in a protective bubble, you expand the bubble, and you say, no, I am cutting the cords to any negative, addiction, any individual, any negative thinking, any depression, any illness, cut the cords, let them go. You do not consent to these things any longer. You are a light body. Bring in the light, hold the light, share the light. We can only help you if you are willing to let go of fear and trust that Source is in control. Now, part of the reason healing was so much harder, again, even 5, 10, 20 years ago, is because there were so many negative entities on this planet, so many controlling forces through the fallen matrix, that it was very hard and a long disentanglement process to get a patient or a client back on their feet again. That even includes the foods. When the foods are being injected and created with Cenomix, I spoke about this, which is actually aborted fetal tissue, even though they're trying to tell you that doesn't happen any longer. If you look at certain brands, even with medications, you will find out that those are literally injected with harmful substances to stop you. Stop you from what? It's simple. Does a light body cost any money? Can anybody make money off of a light body? No. And when you integrate your full light body, what happens? You heal instantly. Nobody can make money. So it's important to really start to integrate your light body. And the best way is letting go of those foods that are contributing to you being stuck. They have in some of the foods ways to inject substances that have magnetic compounds that will stop you from being able to again join up all of your light activations. Now, yes, we can override everything if we are consciously working on it. But you have to be conscious of it. You have to know what you're doing. You have to agree to let go of the things that no longer serve you. I am also still seeing, I can't tell you how many people who are on medications, the Wellbutrins, and then the Zola for hormones, and then they want to lose weight, so they're doing certain things, and then the diabetes, which could be simply controlled on your own. Type 2 diabetes, type 1 is different. All of these things are just ways for your body not to be able to access their original healing abilities. It is so important that we say no now. I am going to say it unequivocally and hope this does not get taken down. But there should be no V of any kind, ever. It should have never been given. It serves no purpose but to stop you from moving into your highest level of light. It should have been enough when you saw the word Pfizer, did the anagram, and read Lucifer. One should pay attention to even ridiculous things like Mickey Mouse. If you put Mickey on a mirror, it says wicked. They have been playing with your mind, manipulating everything around you. And so many people have willingly walked in I gave the example of I did it for my grandbaby. You are lying to yourself. Go back and listen to this video. I am saying this with the deepest amount of love and understanding of why people walk themselves into certain scenarios. But you have to be the one who now says no. And you have to trust that literally they weren't even telling you the truth about viruses. They're not telling you the truth about the fact that the CV was a common cold. They had patented it through a pharmaceutical company years before it ever came out. And I assure you, they will start to try to pull up some other one, most likely Candida related. Candida is a form of yeast. Get some acidophilus. Don't fall for what the system is trying to push on you. And do your inner work so that you can let go of fear. Do your inner work and ask Source and your guides and your angels to start to put together your light body and then to extend your light body further and further out. I have said, and I will say again, we are electromagnetic beings. We have no business putting these false things into our system, thinking that they are healing us. I've told you the story of how I healed my own Crohn's disease. No medicine. I can tell you, I wanted to do IV therapy at one point with the vitamin C's and all these other things. EMDT, I think it was, because I thought maybe that would help. Well, every time they tried to draw my blood or to start an IV, it would take at least 9 times. It was painful and bruising and horrible. Well, finally, thank heavens, one day I walked out going, I think maybe Source is trying to tell me that I shouldn't be taking IVs or shouldn't be blood drawing and shouldn't be doing anything that breaks the skin. Yes, it took me a while. You should not have anything penetrate the skin in those ways. They are completely unnecessary. And if you knew where your blood draws and blood donations were going, it would immediately stop you. In electromagnetic, energetic fields, you can literally, it's almost like auric fields, you can literally see how the energy is running through each body part. All of our organs are being upgraded right now. Our skin is being upgraded. Our light bodies are being upgraded. As I've said, we're becoming homo luminous. So in these electromagnetic, every little part of you is vibrating at a different level, which is the reason why some computer programs can literally do a readout on you. There were certain practices that started coming up about 15, 20 years ago, wonderful, called bioset. And literally, you hold on to a piece on the computer and it reads you. I believe that's what the Spooky 2 is now. I have not researched that further. But even those systems now, we really don't need. We are our own massive healing centers. We are our own living light bodies. We don't need the medications any longer. Even as far as psychotherapy and some of the cognitive therapies, even some of the biofeedbacks, some of all of this is needed less and less today. because we are these beautiful healing machines. Now, as far as therapy, what we really need is magnetic emotional treatment, which takes a few seconds. And literally, you can magnetize something to you and you can magnetize something away from you, even emotions. But we can't do any of that if we are stubbornly holding on to old systems. It couldn't be that easy. That's what our mind tells us. Couldn't be that easy. Oh my. And I can tell you, when I was doing the Crohn's healing, I said one thing to a physical doctor about how I was working on healing myself, and they immediately claimed that I was suicidal. So be careful who you share information with and know that you are doing this. And it wasn't, that doctor had nothing they could offer me. They were actually a nice person, but they were so stuck in their system, they couldn't see what I was doing. So you have to be willing to push your own boundaries. You have to be willing to go within, make that connection with source, pull in the healing, and disconnect all of these other illnesses, which when you bring it down, so many of them are simple. They're yeast imbalances, bacterial imbalances. And now our energy is able to nip them in the bud. But can you let go of suffering? I was walking through a store the other day. Everybody was stopping and talking about their illness or this tragedy or how they were in the hospital or what they were doing. And I literally got what I wanted and ran out of there. If you are programming yourself that you have to be sick, then what's going to happen? You'll be sick. I went to pet a dog. Ask permission first. Beautiful, beautiful lab. Had so much fun. And the person said, "Oh yeah, well, I lost my dog a while ago and I'm just deciding on which dog I would like now as my final one." Final one for what? For death. The person was 50 something and they're planning their final pet. Do you understand how you're feeding that information to your mind that says you're going to die? If you want to die, be my guest. I have no interest in that. We literally are becoming light bodies. Our Merkaba is building for some when it is our time in the soul contracted period. We will be walking off this planet. Can your mind grasp that? Which is why I always tell you, people may think you're delusional. You are not. You are ascending, should you choose. The purer you can be of heart, the more you can let go of what comes through your mind and attract and believe in your own resurrection, your own healing, your own chance to be healed within a second. Just trusting it, not allowing any other thought to come in, it's going to happen. It's how we can heal you so quickly because you're actually healing yourself. Some of us, happen to have kinetic, energetic connection so we can pull things off and clean you up and send you to live a wonderful life. I want this for each and every one of you, but you have to want it for yourself. I have seen miracle upon miracle, and we're seeing more. And although I am very careful to speak biblical terms because they have been distorted. A line very carefully translated from the Christ, the real one, not the fake Jesuses, said, "This you shall do and more." And we are here to do the healings, to see the miracles, to rise in a sense from the dead. We are here to do more. We are here to be more. But we can only do that if we turn off the mind, if we walk away from the meds, if we walk away from the V's. And remember our beautiful children, the young ones being born now, and the ones up into their 20s that they're forcing one of the vaccines on, in particular, HPV, is utter nonsense. I've been sharing this since early 2000, and I'm hoping people will really start to listen now because they have new ears to hear. Our new children being born, our young ones, are the most important things to us. And if we love them, we need to let their bodies do what their bodies need to do in the purest form, which means never, ever an injection. You are the parent. A doctor does not tell you, a psychologist, as I was, does not tell you what to do with your child, no matter how much you like them. Your heart needs to step up with your source guiding you, the divine flow, and tell people no. I know this is tough material. People need to speak up because new cycles get created of the same old stuff. And understand the politicians, the government, the medical groups, the associations, they need to recreate all of this drama and create new illnesses and all that other stuff so that they can remain monetized. When you feed that system, you will walk yourself right into where they want you, the grave, to then receive the insurance and the payouts. And the more V's they give, the more they get paid. And although people have said in the 2000s that I was too harsh on the medical doctors, you will start to see that what I said was the truth. And they will start to be held accountable. Many already have. So please, save yourself, save the precious, beautiful children. Autism will practically disappear once you say no. And while autism has so many beautiful components to it because their energy and vibrations are moving at different levels than we understand, they're actually helping in many ways on grids and on bringing in new energies and all of that. So many times you need to just let the autist be. Even though it's uncomfortable to you, they are doing what they were called to do. But if you're worried about how it makes you look, are you really helping the autist? Or you're taming your own ego because you think there's a normal out there. Start embracing the abnormal. Stop medicating for ascension symptoms. Stop living in the old systems. We have been gifted with the most beautiful new bodies. The light is here. It's within us. We are expanding. Let the light shine. And the more each one gives up a medication, our collective just jumps up. Those of us who said no from the very, very beginning have been holding light for everyone. Come join us. It's beautiful here. Now, again, pushing the boundaries, a little bit of tough love, things that needed to be said. Now, go play, go find your joy. That vibration, joy alone, will override so many of the lower medicational vibrations. And start to trust yourself that it's okay to let these things go. Again, as I've said before, Source didn't bring you this far to drop you now. And you have an army of angels, soul families, and others. So if you really made it this far, I commend you. And I want to say, if you can, make sure to hit like, subscribe. I extended the little readings for a small donation so I can get to more of you. And some of those can include healings if that's what you are feeling you need. So pop over, and that's at docstarseed@yahoo.com. And I will start updating all the information because I'm trying to move everything more into one place so you don't have to pop all over. And I will post this on Buzzsprout for the podcast. And I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I am sending you healing energy and pure light love. Love you.